little intro that I put in. We are live. It didn't do the intro. So welcome to everyone. I'm here today with a colleague, a friend of mine, Marty Greene. And if we haven't already met before, I'm Laura Lyon. I'm creator of Mind Your Business, and I love to do interviews with colleagues, with friends who are brilliant minds, inspirers, leaders, and experts in their field who are out there being all of that by doing. And if you're watching this, chances are that you're an entrepreneur and you're at some stage of your journey always looking for inspiration, because we're lifelong learners, right? And today, Martin, I always call him Martin. That's just kind of how I am. But Marty Greene, he's known also as Top of Mind Guy. We met first through a JV community, selling on the spot marketplace, and from there, we've gotten into some other joint ventures together, and that's what I love about being an entrepreneur today. Wouldn't you agree, Martin, that there's just so many opportunities to get involved, to network, to grow your business?
Yes, I definitely agree. It's an awesome thing because it introduces you to new people that you never would have met otherwise, and learning about their journeys.
Right. So Martin is here today to talk to us and share with us, well, part of his journey, but also what he's doing today and how that comes into play with growing your business, how to joint venture. And I love the community that you created. I got in as a founding member, and would you just introduce yourself to everyone that's watching? Because you'll tell your story better than me.
Sure. Thank you, Laurel. And first, thank you for inviting me today. That's most important. It's so fun to work with you. Just the smile, the energy that I feel when I'm on the other side of the camera from you is wonderful. And that's really what this is about. It's the fact that we live in a world that is so global, and back in the day when we were meeting person to person, it was so different because you could just go up to somebody and hug them if that's what you felt like doing, or shaking their hand, and right, exactly. But we've been able to meet because of actually some things that the world didn't need, but actually provide us with an opportunity.
Very elegantly stated.
Yeah, exactly. But well, so I'm called Top of Mind Guy because I help people learn what needs to be at the top of their mind so that they can be at the top of mind for their prospects and clients, and really anybody that they're leading. It's really the world, everything really revolves and falls around leadership. And you know, they say if you're walking and nobody's following you, you're just taking a walk in the park, right? And so what I do is I've learned through a lifetime of learning like yourself about what leadership really is. I had a view of it from parents and from teachers and bosses. And obviously we've all experienced all kinds of leadership, but I didn't really know how it's broken down and what it takes to get from one level to the other. I thought leadership, well, that person's a born leader, but the truth of the matter is, yeah, there is a certain amount of born leadership, but there's also an amount that you can learn. So that was what I do, and that's what I've loved exploring, that what it actually takes to become a leader. And in doing that, my philosophy is learn, do, and teach. And of course, my background as a teacher for 10 years. I love to learn, I love to do, and then I love to share it with people I know to make their lives better.
Well, you're humble, because what Marty isn't sharing just yet, anyways, for those of you who are watching, and we have some guests joining us live, is that he's been trained by some of the most brilliant in the industry. You are a Master NLP facilitator, and you have been trained by John Maxwell. And if any of you watching don't know who John Maxwell is, you just haven't been around a little long enough yet, because he's he really is someone who forged so much in the coaching industry for people. And he's online, and he's he's huge still today. And so you've had a front seat to some of the best training, and that's the other part. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to brush up alongside of you, because Martin has stuff going on. He knows, how to bring people together. And truly, often I often laugh actually when people say, "Oh, I hate social media, I hate blah blah blah." And it's like, well, that's because they're not using it properly. And social media really is the epitome of networking. I used to have a beef with networking because it was just all about the business card. So I loved going online, because then it was okay. If you're going to be online, people have to figure out a more intricate way of connecting. So what are some of the labels? What are some of the labels that you have, Martin?
Well, okay, thank you again. Well, I am a certified trainer of the bank methodology. So my mentors there were Sherry Tree, Esther Wilderberg, and Brigitte Huffala, and also her husband Christian. And I'm also a bank iOS coach, which means intelligence operating system, which teaches about empathy and things that are really important to survive in life as well as in business. And I'm, as you mentioned, I'm a John Maxwell trainer. I was trained by John personally, and been working with him for 4 years now. And also, as you said, an NLP master practitioner. I work with the NLP Institute, which is Brigitte Huffala again. And so and I'm also a prodigy of Les Brown. So I've had some great mentors along the way. And that's really, I guess my secret is that I have a huge level of curiosity about people and their journeys. And I also have a very strong awareness of what my strengths are and what my weaknesses are. So when I find a weakness, I seek out mentors to be able to fill those gaps.
What would you say people struggle with so much today as a coach, and what people are looking for, besides needing to get online? Like, what's
Sure.
below that?
Well, I think probably my favorite book of John Maxwell's is called Everyone Communicates But Few Connect. And that is the essence of the problem most people have. They can talk and they can even listen, but they don't necessarily make the connection that it takes to be able to have well, we're talking about parents and children. We're talking about human relations in general, and of course in business, because we tend to talk across each other and not towards each other.
Oh, you're right. And I see this thing going on. I'm still catching myself doing it, where people are yelling into the screen all the time. How many times when we've been on calls and people don't realize that you don't have to yell at people, and I think maybe it's part of being mesmerized by seeing themselves on the screen. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's crazy, but and it's really the essence of that communication is why I love partnering with you, Laurel, because it's really a kind of an onion. If you think about it, you have to peel away the onion. There are two parts to it, which is the other person, starting with the other person, like being outward. I actually grew up very introverted, so this was a learning experience for me to be able to reach out to people and find out what I was always interested in people, but I didn't exactly know how to get to that part, right? And what I learned is that people have different values. Of course, everybody has different values, but they use those values in order to make decisions whether to buy in with you or not to buy in with you. And that's part of it. And they also, of course, people also have their own map of the world. Even within a family, people have their own experiences and their own way of looking at things. Some people are more visually oriented, some are more kinesthetic or visual. And so how they see that determines how they react to other people. Now that's the part about them. And then there's the part about you. How do you show up for them? So it really is a whole circle of things. How are you showing up for them? How are they showing up for you? And that's what creates that synergy ultimately when people say, oh, now you're talking my language. And that's how that happens.
Well, you're exactly right. I love the education that comes through all of the different avenues in being an entrepreneur, being a coach, and I wouldn't otherwise know that I was an introvert. If you believe me or not, I'm an extroverted introvert,
Yeah.
and I only just recently discovered that, and it helped me to understand deeper levels of myself, right? And exactly what you're speaking about, when we understand the different ways that people learn, and it lends into how how quickly they're going to pull out their credit card, or if they will or not, and
Yes.
it's right. It's
Yep.
that connection. And one of the things I sometimes say is, if cash is king, connection is queen. Right?
I'm writing that down.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't coin that one.
Okay.
My one of my coaches, Maria Andros, did, and it's true, because it kind of puts that not so much of a masculine spin on it, and it is cash. Cash to me is a masculine quality because it's external, but the queen is about having all of those that are in her charge, and making that connection, and making sure everyone is connecting, and their needs are met, or that their voice is heard, right? So
Wow, what a beautiful visualization of that concept.
yeah. Right. Well, right. And that's connection. That's absolutely connection. So tell me about one of the projects that you're working on right now that you've created is your community. And where did that come from? Why did you create this community, and what's it called?
Okay, well, first it's called the Top of Mind Community.
Mhm.
And the reason I created it was I've been a Toastmaster for 6 years, and I would meet weekly with people, and we would teach each other how to speak publicly, how to speak in a prepared way, how to evaluate the other person's speech, and also how to speak when somebody walks to you in the elevator and asks you a question. Will you melt, or will you, like, for instance, if your boss met you in the elevator, right? So it's all about learning how to communicate in a verbal way, and also how to listen so you can evaluate what they're doing. And I found, after about a year, I found myself being a mentor to other people doing that. Well, what I realized is that when it comes to sales and marketing, communications and leadership, people need that same level. They can read books, they can listen to a mentor, they can attend a seminar, but unless you have a place to practice it that's safe and where you can get feedback instantly, it's really not very much use. So what Top of Mind Community does is provide that. There's some training involved in the fact that I do John Maxwell training, I do some NLP work in there, but also it's meant to allow people to other people to shine, like yourself. We have all kinds of people who are experts in various things, and all of them are invited to come in and talk about what they do. So it's all about connecting with all of the people and learning at the same time. So it's a learning environment, a practicing environment, and a teaching environment.
That's fabulous. So that when's your next event in there?
Well, it's a constant thing, actually. It's a
Oh, cool.
subscription. When people, and we are actually doing we're scheduling an event for everybody to get together. You're going to be the speaker at that event.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, fabulous. Fabulous. Well, we've been talking and setting dates, and I tell you, sometimes I have to have it right in front of me.
Oh,
But I do have that on my calendar, September
okay.
6th. I do
Yes,
have
September 6th. Exactly. So, yeah,
that.
and that's really the point, is that it's not just, this isn't really about me. It's that, we talked about before, is we have that connection with each other, but also you have a particular skill and a way of helping people show up better. Like me, I had some habits that you immediately showed me in just a 15-minute talk. And I realized this is how I'm showing up for people. And I was able to correct it. So you're very intuitive about that. And so I'm really looking forward to the people in the community having the advantage of your expertise as well.
Well, thank you so much. It truly is. Yeah, Martin is talking about the body-mind connection, or client attraction, I call it, because that nonverbal communication, that message that we don't realize that we're sending out there, and it's a real thing. If you breathe, if you don't believe in oxygen or gravity, the nonverbal communication is the exact same thing. It's what you don't see when you're not looking in the mirror, and it comes from your inner world. And I continue to learn and grow inside of that, being with those kind of skills. And so I love sharing it with entrepreneurs, especially because they're so willing. Entrepreneurs roll up the sleeves and say, just tell me what to do. Just tell me how to change it. So that's why I'm so looking forward to your community, because basically it's entrepreneurs. I don't know if you set out for it to be that way, but that's what it looks like to me.
Well, yeah, the intention, the other part of what it was that there are so many people my age and people our age. Well,
Young like
I'm
us.
young, exactly. Young thinking,
Yeah.
who are looking for that next journey in their lives, and for many of them, it's starting a new business, or maybe they've already started a business and they're not quite catching fire with it, and they don't really know why. And we don't have time to fail forward or get to know by having 100 no's and then to get a yes. There's just not time for that. We need to succeed now. And so that was what prompted me, because I've been learning for a lifetime, but it was one little light bulb that went off that made me realize what's required. And so that's what I want to teach people. By the way, I'm going to be doing an event next Friday, a John Maxwell lunch and learn at 4:00. And everybody that's here is welcome to join me for that.
Yeah, and you're welcome to put your links in. I don't know. Can you see the chat on your side? We can.
Yes.
Okay, so you can put your links in there, and then Martin is also going to be putting the links, if this is in the From Passion to Profit Facebook group or on Mind Your Business page. The feed will be live, and we'll come back and we'll answer any questions, and we'll put the post in there. And I'll just say what Martin just said about being of a particular age and having accumulated wisdom and so on. And I'm recalling now why I jumped on board, because here's one of the stands that I have for people of any age, is that it doesn't matter what age you are, but it really frustrated me. After a certain age, I would hear that comment. Well, at this age, it is like, hey, as I've already displayed, I have some memory lapse, or delay thing happening. But my memory is better in my 50s than it was in my 20s, and that's from being consciously aware of health. And you're the same way, Martin. You and your lovely wife Ellie, physically, emotionally, nutritionally, you are so on a program, and that's how it's been for me. So that was the reason why I wanted to be involved with your community, because I too wanted to speak to those that felt like, life, I'm at a certain age, and don't ever feel like life has passed you by, because at our ages that we are, life is only getting richer and richer. Aren't our bodies amazing, what they do for restorative? And like I say, my memory is better than it's ever been, even though it's got a little bit of funny stuff going on. But that is something that I've been working on. And for everyone watching, this is true for you also. So top of mind community is an opportunity to be lifted up, supported, and empowered by others over 50 that have had and still have brilliant careers. Because Martin, I don't know what age you plan on doing your next act, but what I'm doing today, I'm going to do to my last breathing day.
And for me also, I found my purpose for living in this. So I feel the same way. I don't. People ask me when I'm going to retire and say, well, I don't really plan on retiring. I love what I'm doing, and I'm now just able to espouse that.
Well, that word isn't allowed in our house. It's a swear word in our house. My husband, when his siblings started asking when he was going to, and I say to him, why would he want to be tired again? We've done that. So we're going to keep doing this. So we travel the world doing yoga, body rolling, and going to events. Looking forward to the borders opening, and so we can just kind of do more of what we're doing, like your community. And you and Ellie, you do a fair bit of travel yourselves.
We do. We love our lifestyle. We travel, and we enjoy doing that together. We consider our life to be a lazy river, and so
I love it.
that's how we, from the very beginning, that's how we planned it, and that's how we've lived it. And some of the things that I've learned along the way. Now, I have to tell you, every relationship has its issues, right? But some of the things that I've learned have helped me not only in business, but they've actually, I won't say saved my marriage because it was never in trouble, but it certainly has enhanced it in the way my wife and I communicate, because I understand she's very different in personality and in values. She values, I'll just real quick, she very much values structure and stability and rules. And I'm all over the place when it comes to that. I'm about progress and moving, yeah, moving forward and doing stuff and getting stuff done. And so there are times that we could clash about that thing. And I'll just, my favorite thing is our golf bags. We both play golf. If you look at her golf bag, you'd see one where all the clubs are in the right place, all the covers are on, they're all clean. If she knows exactly where they are. Mine is not that organized. So, but we didn't really understand that about each other. And now that we do, we laugh about those things instead of fighting about them.
Well, I think your Ellie and my Larry might be brother and sister. you and I sound the same. And those brilliant entrepreneur minds, because we think in many different directions, and you certainly are like that. That's why you're able to do what you do. Otherwise, that other style, they are very structured, and we do require those people in our life, right? But they require us to let their hair down, and so that we spontaneously try this out, try that out. I'm like the scenic route in life. That's I'm sure Larry calls me his home entertainment center, because there are so many things that we wouldn't do if it weren't for that spontaneous side of us. And what you're talking about, Martin, really, for me, I agree. Because of how I've learned to deal with people and how to understand people through the work that I do, my marriage is that much better. Because I'm not easy to live with. I reckon I'd be the first one. I'm not the easiest, because I've got all these rules now and all these qualities that, because of where I've been in business, like, it should be like that we should continue to grow. So Larry's growing. We're growing together in new ways. We're each individual people, but I often say my business has been the deepest spiritual work that I've done on myself because of my business. And I think you're the same way, because we care deeply. You care deeply about your people. You're the top of mind guy, but you're the top of mind guy with a big heart. That's how I see you. Yeah, for sure. Okay. For sure. So, okay. So events coming up, you have, so for people watching, hello to everyone coming on. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm here with my friend, my colleague, Martin Greene. We do some joint ventures together, and we're talking about his top of mind community. It's for over 50 entrepreneurs, but we'd let young ones in.
Yes, everybody's welcome.
Right. And Martin's going to post the links to connect with him here. And if you're in the group, he'll continue to answer the live questions. We'll keep the feed live, pardon me. So, and if you're watching and aren't a member of my Facebook group, From Passion to Profit. Just drop a note and we'll get you in. If you're an entrepreneur and you want some extra exposure, reach out to Martin for sure, because his community is filled with joint ventures and other wise entrepreneurs. But also in my community here, it's about you having a safe place too to maybe do your first live or do your first interview. So Martin, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join me today, be with me in my community here, and I look forward to being with you in your community. And as we move to wrapping up, anyone that's watching, if you have any questions, do type them in. Any comments, we welcome them. But what, in closing, Martin, is there something that you'd like to leave people with?
Yes. In order to know yourself, you have to grow yourself. And in order to grow yourself, you have to know yourself. That's John Maxwell's second of 15 invaluable laws of growth, the law of awareness. And I think if you go by that, if you understand yourself, you can grow. It really makes all the sense in the world, doesn't it? So I did put my digital business card in there. So I'd love for your guests to contact me, set an appointment with me, and I'd love to know how I can serve them and serve you all. And Laurel, thank you so much for inviting me today.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you to everyone who's joining us live and on the replay. I'll see you in your community really soon. Thanks so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
You too, Laurel. Thank you. And bye now, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.